All right, let's get right into it today. We're doing a deep dive on something I think is pretty incredible.
Oh, yeah.
A new player in the AI world, and they are making waves.
Big waves.
DeepSeek R1, have you heard of it?
I have indeed.
We're going right to the source for this one, folks.
Straight to the source.
DeepSeek's own API documentation.
You got it.
So this is, hot off the presses stuff.
Brand new.
And I think it's going to be pretty exciting. So to kind of frame our mission here,
Okay.
DeepSeek is claiming to be on par with OpenAI,
Wow.
and they're doing it all open source.
Huge.
So that's what we want to figure out today.
That's right.
What is DeepSeek R1 claiming to do?
Okay.
Why is this open source aspect such a big deal?
Yeah.
And how does it actually compare to those big names that we're all familiar with, like OpenAI?
All right. Let's do it.
All right, so right at the top
Okay.
of their API documentation,
Yep.
they make a pretty bold claim.
All right.
Performance on par with OpenAI O1.
I saw that.
Just like that.
Out of the gate.
No qualifiers,
Pretty bold.
no footnotes.
That's right.
So what does it actually mean
Well,
to be on par with OpenAI?
like you said, that's a pretty big statement
In
because,
terms of like
OpenAI is
Sure.
kind of the gold standard right now. I
Sure.
mean, in terms of like,
an 800-pound gorilla
yeah, the 800-pound gorilla.
in the room.
They're known for their,
Yeah.
like, cutting-edge models.
Yes.
GPT-3, GPT-4, ChatGPT.
Right.
I mean, these are,
Delhi.
yeah, DALL-E.
All that stuff.
It's impressive stuff. And so for a new company to come out and say, hey, we're right there with them,
Yeah.
that's a big deal.
That gets my attention.
It should.
So, and then right underneath that bold claim
Yeah.
is another one.
Let's hear it.
Fully open source.
Okay, so,
So this is really interesting to me. Help me understand.
Sure.
What does this mean?
well, open source
Like,
means the code
Yeah.
is freely available for anyone to use, modify, distribute.
Right.
It's like the opposite of proprietary software,
okay.
where, the company keeps everything secret.
Yeah.
So for developers, researchers, even everyday users.
So like why?
This is huge
Why should I care?
because it means you're not locked into a specific company's ecosystem.
Okay.
You have the freedom
Yeah.
to take this model
Gotcha.
and really do whatever you want with it.
Okay. So I'm starting to see why this is a big deal.
It is. So if we,
Especially in the AI world
Yeah.
where things tend to be very,
yeah, closed off.
closed off, proprietary.
Okay.
So to have something this powerful be completely open,
Yeah,
that's pretty rare.
that's really interesting.
Yeah.
So it's open source. They're claiming it's on par with OpenAI.
Right.
And then the third thing that just jumps out to me,
Okay.
and then they actually put this in bold, MIT licensed,
Yeah.
distill and commercialize freely. Yeah. So the MIT license
That's interesting.
is one of the most
Remember to unpack this?
permissive licenses out there.
Yeah.
It basically means you can do almost anything you want with the code,
Right.
including using it for commercial purposes.
Okay. So this is unusual, right?
Very unusual.
In the world of AI.
Especially for something this powerful.
Yeah.
Most companies would want to keep a tight grip on this kind of technology.
Yeah.
But DeepSeek seems to be taking a different approach.
I'm fascinated by this. I got to be honest.
It's a very
Yeah.
it's a very interesting move.
Okay.
They're basically saying, "Hey, we believe in the power of open source. We believe in the community. Go out there, do amazing things with this."
That's it. That's a bold stance to take.
It is.
And they seem to be putting their money where their mouth is.
They are.
by not, putting all these restrictions on it.
Exactly.
And then as if that wasn't enough,
What else?
they're offering distilled models.
Okay.
A 32B and a 70B.
So these are basically smaller, more efficient versions
Right.
of the full DeepSeek R1 model.
Yeah.
They're designed to be more accessible.
Okay, so why is that a big deal?
Well, not everyone has access to a supercomputer,
Sure.
right? These distilled models
Yeah.
allow people with more limited resources
Okay.
to still experiment with
Yeah.
and use this technology.
So it's kind of like,
Exactly.
they're democratizing
Yeah, democratizing AI.
this incredible technology.
That's a good way to put it.
Yeah.
And what's really interesting is that they claim
Yeah.
these distilled models
Yeah.
still achieve performance comparable to OpenAI O1 Mini.
Okay, so even these smaller versions
Yes.
are still packing a punch.
They are.
So let's dig a little deeper
Right.
into the technical stuff.
Let's get technical.
What's under the hood?
So one of the key things that DeepSeek highlights
Okay.
is their use of large-scale reinforcement learning
Okay.
in post-training.
All right. So break that down for me.
So basically, it's like They're taking the model
Right.
after it's been initially trained,
Okay.
and they're putting it through a sort of rigorous training regimen
Okay.
where it's constantly being challenged
Right.
to improve its performance.
Okay.
And they do this by giving the model rewards when it gets things right.
Like
Sort of like
training a dog.
Yeah, like training a dog.
Okay.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Give it a treat when
Yeah.
it does something good.
Right. Positive reinforcement.
Exactly.
Okay.
And over time,
Yeah.
the model learns to perform these tasks
Right.
really, really well.
And they're saying that this results in
A significant performance boost
okay.
with minimal labeled data.
And that's a big deal, right?
Huge deal.
Because labeled data
Is expensive.
is time consuming.
It's time consuming. It's hard to come by.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
if they can get these amazing results
Right.
without needing tons and tons of labeled data,
Yeah.
that's a big advantage.
All right. So we're starting to understand how this thing works.
A little bit, yeah.
And then they highlight some specific areas
Okay.
where DeepSeek R1 excels.
Let's hear them.
Math, code, and reasoning tasks.
Interesting.
Now those are
Those are some
pretty challenging areas.
high-level tasks.
Yeah, and those are areas where, frankly, some AI models struggle.
Yeah.
So what kind of performance are we talking about?
So in their technical report,
Okay.
which we'll link to in the show notes,
Perfect.
they have some pretty impressive benchmarks.
Okay.
For example, on a standard math benchmark,
Yeah.
DeepSeek R1 actually outperforms GPT-3,
No way.
which is,
That's huge.
a pretty big deal.
Right.
And in code generation tasks,
Yeah.
it's also very competitive
Right.
with some of the best models out there.
So it really sounds like
Yeah.
they're not exaggerating.
Well, they're not just hyping this up.
They're bad.
They have benchmarks to back it up.
This is the real deal.
It seems to be.
All right. So we've talked about the performance. We've
Yeah.
talked about the open source aspects.
Right.
But let's get down to brass tacks.
Let's talk money.
Let's talk about cost.
Right.
Because at the end of the day,
Yeah.
if this thing is prohibitively expensive to use,
It's a no-go.
then it doesn't matter
Right.
how good it is.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So how much does it actually cost?
So let's look at the API access
Okay.
and pricing.
All right.
So they have this token-based pricing system.
Yeah. It's a little bit hard to
Right.
wrap your head around at first.
Yeah.
But it's actually
It's-
pretty straightforward.
Once you kind of
They
understand
break it down.
the basics.
Yeah. So basically every word or piece of code
Right.
is like a little token.
Yeah.
And the more tokens you use,
Yeah.
the more it costs.
Okay. So that makes sense.
That's the basic idea.
But they have this interesting thing
Okay.
where they have different costs
Right.
for what they call a cache hit
Yes.
versus a cache miss.
So a cache hit is when the information you're requesting
Yeah.
is already stored in their system.
Oh,
So
right.
it's very quick
Yeah.
and cheap to retrieve.
Oh.
A cache miss
Okay.
is when they have to actually process
Wow.
your request from scratch,
Okay.
which takes more time,
Yeah.
more resources, and
Yeah.
therefore costs more.
Okay, so can you give me like a real world example?
Let's say you're using DeepSeek R1
Okay.
to generate 100 lines of code.
Okay.
Something relatively simple.
Yeah.
If it's a cache hit,
Yeah.
meaning they already have the information,
Right.
you need to generate that code.
Gotcha.
You're probably looking at a cost of just a few cents,
Wow.
maybe even less.
Okay.
But even if it's a cache miss and they have to do all the work
Right.
to generate that code,
Sure.
you're probably still looking at
Okay.
less than $1.
So we're not talking about
Yeah.
breaking the bank here.
Not at all.
Okay.
That's compared to some other AI services
Right.
that can cost,
Yeah.
dollars per request.
Hundreds of dollars.
Yeah, hundreds of dollars.
Yeah.
So this is
really
very affordable.
Firstly considering the
Huge
level
fair.
of performance you're
Yeah.
getting.
So I have to say I'm pretty impressed
I am too.
with what we've seen so far.
It's
DeepSeek is
Yeah.
claiming to be as good as OpenAI.
Right.
They're giving it away open source.
with a very permissive license
Right.
that allows for commercialization.
Hmm.
And it's affordable.
It is.
I mean, what's not to like
I don't know. It's pretty amazing.
So what does this mean
Yeah.
for the
I think it has the potential
Yeah.
to be a real disruptor.
in the world of AI?
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, just imagine startups, researchers who couldn't afford
Right.
access to these powerful AI models before
Yeah.
they can now get in on the action.
Yeah.
And that means
Massive.
we could see a whole wave of innovation coming
Yeah.
from unexpected places, people
Yeah.
who maybe didn't have the resources
Right.
before.
I love that.
Yeah.
That's what's so exciting
Yeah.
about this to me.
It's very exciting.
It's
It
like they're
feels like
throwing open the doors
Yeah.
and saying,
Come on in.
come on in, let's build the future of AI together.
Exactly.
And so that leaves us
Yeah.
with a pretty big question.
What's that?
For our listeners,
Okay.
if something this powerful
Right.
is now available
Yeah.
to practically
It's about
anyone,
anyone.
what will you create with it?
What will you do with it?
I think that's the question we all need to be asking ourselves right now,
I agree.
because the possibilities
The possibilities are endless.
are truly endless.
Yeah.
All right, well, on that note, thanks
Thanks.
for joining us for another deep dive.
It's been a pleasure.
It's been great having you as our expert,
Thanks for having me.
and we'll see you next time.
See you later.
All right, bye-bye.
Bye.